This is Adam King from Aliens Don't Ring Doorbells, and you're listening to Madness to Creation.
Go ahead, say it.
Welcome to the Madness to Creation podcast, where you freaking matter. This is Maddie. How are you? Here I have with me is one awesome guest. He really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him a little bit of an introduction anyways. His name is AHMET Zappa, and you probably have heard that name. He is the son of the legendary musician Frank Zappa, and he's AHMET Zappa does a little bit of everything, and he's not only a best-selling author, he's a producer, he's a musician, he's also head of the iconic Frank Zappa estate. And the reason why we brought him on is to talk about mental health and how important that is, as well as promoting his show coming up on Access TV, which is premiered this Sunday, August 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. The show is called Rock My Collection, and he has famous appraiser Stephen Braitman to appraise various items on the show, and it is such a unique concept, and now I want to talk a little bit about Rock My Collection. It is produced by Critical Concepts with executive producers Jenny Daly, Tom Foreman, R. Greg Johnson, AHMET Zappa, and Matt Pickle. And what is so cool about Rock My Collection is we will get to see some amazing pieces of memorabilia. If you're a memorabilia nerd like I am when it comes to sports, and I am a little bit now when it comes to music as well, we'll get to see like stuff like handwritten lyrics signed by late Metallica bassist Cliff Burton, a zombie suit from Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, love letters written by Axl Rose, a pair of Elvis Presley oddities, and a symbol signed and played by Nirvana, an Italian roadmap signed by guitar great Jimi Hendrix, and the stage-used microphone used by Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac's Rumors tour, complete with remnants of her lips. And we get to learn, if you really want to learn about how memorabilia is valued, how to go about collecting pieces of memorabilia, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's from movies, this is the podcast for you. And AHMET Zappa gets into a wonderful discussion about failing and mental health. We only had about 15-20 minutes with him, and you know what, it was an amazing 15-20 minutes. I'd love to have him back on. And again, check out Rock My Collection on Access TV, premiering this Sunday, August 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. And you can find this podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Geo7, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, and Google Podcasts. And follow us on Madness to Creation on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and Madness to Creation. Also follow us on Twitter and PC Madness. Again, Rock My Collection is premiering this Sunday, August 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Without further delay, here's our conversation with AHMET Zappa. Take away, AHMET. Welcome to the Madness to Creation podcast, where self-care and music merge. Here at Madness to Creation, we challenge you to be safe, be well, and be balanced. Here I have with me is the awesome AHMET Zappa, who has waited so patiently for my technical difficulties. AHMET, how are you doing today?
Good. I'm happy to be speaking with you, Maddie. This is it's certainly your show. Very interesting topic, and I can't wait to dive in.
Awesome. And let's get started. And first of all, you have coming out in a couple weeks, Rock This Memorabilia, which I am such a nerd when it comes to music memorabilia. I mean,
Rock My Collection is the name of the show.
Rock My Collection. I am so sorry. Rock My Collection.
No problem.
And just tell us about that show, and what is a couple of your favorite pieces of memorabilia that will be featured on the show?
Well, it was a real delight to do this. It was a surprise to be invited to join Access TV and Critical Content. They put the show together. For me, it was reuniting with a lot of folks behind the camera. So it was just on a friend level, on a creative level, great to work with Greg Johnston and Sarah Weidman and others to kind of make the show happen. Stephen Braitman, who is on the show with me, he I've done some work with him. He's actually helped us value items for the family business, the Zappa business. So he's a very knowledgeable person, and just music memorabilia and music in general. I like to think I know a thing or two about that kind of stuff. And I got to meet these extraordinary fans of artists that I also worship. And what we do on the show is we have real collectors, people who are very passionate about music, passionate about the items that they have. Some were so extraordinary. They come on our show and tell their emotional stories about how they came to get these items in their collection.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were also fortunate to have other well-known musicians that people will recognize and be fans of tell stories about some of the musical items that they cherish in their own collections. So it's a pretty interesting show. People come on, and interesting to me at least, and hopefully other people will enjoy it. But people come on and they share their prized possessions. We tell them the value of these items, and then they have an opportunity, if they so desire, to offer them up for our viewers to potentially bid on, or in a lot of cases, the people are just happy to know the value of these prized possessions, and they keep them in their collection. But we've been able to get some pretty cool things that can now be a part of someone else's brand new memorabilia collection, or just kind of add to their existing collection of awesomeness. But the show starts, called Rock My Collection. It airs Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it starts August 15th. And hopefully people will check it out. There's lots of fabulous items: Alice Cooper's pants, Taylor Swift autographs, John Cougar Mellencamp, or John Mellencamp paintings, and Elvis's wart. Just weird things.
That is all fantastic. So, like myself, I collect baseball cards as well. Like, I could talk to you all day about how baseball cards are valued and stuff like that. How do you guys go about valuing, putting a price tag or a value on a piece of memorabilia? Like, what's a couple of tricks of the trade our listeners can get from that?
That's really Stephen Breitman on the show. That's his focus and expertise. Mm-hmm. But what you can look at is similar items that have sold at auction can kind of help us have an understanding of the value of whatever that piece of memorabilia is that might show up on our show. And the thing that always creates more value, if there's a story associated with that item that really proves the provenance of that particular piece of music history. So we try to unearth that stuff. And in the case of, let's say it's a signature on a guitar and the person doesn't really know, I bought this at auction and I think it's signed by this person. And we have in our Swiss Army knife of awesome individuals that help us out. We have folks that can truly authenticate signatures, experts in the field. But really, that's the beauty of what Steve does. Is he's been doing this for years, and he really helps our guests with identifying the value of their items.
That is so awesome. And do you guys see yourself, or maybe you yourself as maybe a collector or something like that? Do you all see yourself stepping into the NFT world?
I don't necessarily know for the show. I don't know if that's an area that they'll get into. It's certainly interesting when you think about non-fungible tokens and the power of the blockchain. And my personal opinions on that is, when you're making digital collectibles, I tend to be of the frame of mind that they should be minted against a physical item. so that you can track both the value of the physical item as well as the value of the digital, the NFT. To me, that is a smarter way of transparency and less of a Ponzi scheme feeling thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of one of those things I kind of think about is in terms of, obviously you're head of the Frank Zappa estate and all that. So how do you carry your expertise from being the head of the estate to this show?
How do I carry my expertise? Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh,
Apologies.
yeah. No, it's okay. How do you carry your expertise from being the head of a estate as famous as your father, Frank Zappa, to this show? Like, what are some like takeaways that you have from this that you bring to the table?
I mean, I think there's a sensitivity that just comes along with it. I've lost both my parents, so you can kind of look at these things that we grew up with. There's a bunch of emotional nostalgia connected to it, right? And I suppose the fact that my father was a musician, to me, these, for the most part, a lot of the stuff that we might have laying around it's just stuff that was in our house, but to someone else it might have far less of a meaning or far greater meaning, so it kind of runs the gamut. So I'm sympathetic to that. I think I can relate just as a human being and as a fan of music and as a collector myself. I just like the story. I'm someone who, I just don't buy things that or collect things I don't have a real interest in. Right. So the beauty is when we'd have people on the show, they're really showcasing their passion.
Absolutely.
And that's infectious. And to have that opportunity to share in their passion and to hear their stories, I really enjoyed it. I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity and was again invited to play in this Rock My Collection TV show sandbox. I have a lot of. I'm very happy that Access was foolish enough to invite me to this party.
And we all can't wait for the party. So you brought up a passion. What are some things that you are passionate about, like in your life?
Oh, my family, my children. That's first and foremost. We try to practice as much gratitude and appreciation in our daily activities. Certainly around every meal, we try to express, our rose and our thorn of the day. And, so what was the thing that made us happy, and what was the difficult thing that any one of us might have encountered during the day, and that helps us feel connected and can hopefully overcome some of those challenges or give some insights to our little ones. And I feel like it's a great way to connect with my wife and sharing just a really simple way. But yeah, we practiced a lot of gratitude. My wife and I were lucky enough to study with. We were transcendental meditators. So, TM was a big part of our routine. And that's fairly grounding. If I encourage people to meditate, if they have the opportunity, I think it's definitely worth their while. And we love a good sound bath. We'll play around with just about anything. I mean, we while my mother was alive, some of the best memories that we have is when she was really nervous about her illness, finding ways to kind of calm her and to let go and to transition to the other side. And that was, for seeing your daily practice and then to have such a stressful kind of big moment where it became evident that my mother was going to pass. I got to say that those tools were really helpful. So I'm grateful that we went on that journey, and our teacher was my mother's teacher as well. So we were able to gift that to her before she passed, and that really it's magical, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is so important, is just carry on that legacy and everything like that. What do you let's say down the road, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, I mean, my fantasy is that people might think that I told some funny stories, invented some authentic stories. You know, I love creators like Tex Avery as a visual storyteller, animator. You know, Walt Disney, Jim Henson. You know, I love family content. So there's a big part of me that I'd love some aspect of my legacy to have been able to have had some kind of an impact in the family space. And then on top of that, I work with a lot of musical estates, so helping them to achieve their goals and to keep creating, or to work with these legacies so that more people can discover the amazing work that they made in their lifetime. That's also really appealing to me. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And one kind of a quick story. Like yesterday, Dusty Hill of ZZ Top passed away, and ZZ Top was actually my first cassette. I remember as a 5-year-old rocking out to the song "Give Me All Your Lovin'," which is kind of crazy for a kindergartner to do that. So like lately, ZZ Top, because of that, it's been the soundtrack to my life. It's helped me get through. And one thing I usually ask my guests on this podcast is, what is some music that helps you get through when times might get a little uneasy or difficult in your life?
I mean, something that's always a feel good record for me is the Talking Book, Stevie Wonder's Talking Book.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There's a lot of kind of spiritual things that happen in the music. Plus, it's super funky.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, ever since I got that record, the melodies and a lot of that music is something that I sing on a regular basis. Like it's like a shower song, right?
Yeah.
But that's a great example. I'm also a fan, very specifically, of the song "Star Rider" by Bad Company. Not by Foreigner, rather. Jeez, I can't believe I messed that up. There's other, like Fire and Water by Bad Company. I feel like Making Love. I love those songs. But Foreigner, Star Rider, that is my song that my wife and I like. I kind of think that my wife is a star rider. She's a powerful lion witch. She's magical.
That is incredible. So just kind of one more question for you. Before I ask the question, like were you part of the Zappa Plays Zappa band?
I was not a part. I mean, in the beginning, yeah, because I put that whole show together. I called my brother and was like, hey, would you want to actually do this? And did put all the hard work in to kind of get it done as an organization and as an entity to actually go out and tour. So then my mother and I and my brother kind of went around the globe talking about doing the show. And the only reason why I didn't play with the Zappa Play Zappa band is I had this great opportunity. I had written my first kids book, my first bit of family content. And I started a new company at Disney. So my responsibility is at working with one foot in consumer products and one foot in the motion picture group at the Disney company for many years. Kind of pulled me away from playing my dad's music, but my brother went out to great success playing our father's music, which was great.
Absolutely. The reason why I brought that up is because I remember seeing Zappa Play Zappa a few years ago, opening providing support, I should say, for Dream Theater, and I was absolutely blown away by the show. But I couldn't remember if you were on the stage or not, so that's kind of the reason why I brought that up. So, two more questions I have for you, because I know you have a very busy evening. The first question is, what are your personal and professional goals that you have, whether it's personal or professional?
Well, My personal goals are to find the greater balance of work and family life. And that's one thing that I was able to focus on. Hopefully a lot of people were able to do the same during COVID. And just finding that balance. And that was a reset for me. So that's one of the only benefits, I guess, of COVID. I found a new kind of equilibrium. What was something else?
And just professional goals that you have.
Oh, my professional goals are, I love the teamwork. I love collaborating, and if we can, I'm just a workaholic. So I guess to keep doing what I'm doing right now, which is focusing on a lot of storytelling. Everything to me is storytelling. And working with these music estates that I'm privileged to be able to interface with on a regular basis. Keep doing a great job. Hopefully people feel that way with the content that we're releasing through Zappa Records. And I'm working on a lot more family content, animated shows. And I have a new kids book coming out next year, which I'm excited about. A follow-up to my New York Times best-selling book, Because I'm Your Dad. Because I'm Your Mom will be coming out. So, those are my goals.
Those sound like amazing goals. And how important is it for that you see for families to have their children read, to get them engaged in reading?
Well, as a dyslexic and as someone who really struggled with that, my approach is hopefully they support, a child who suffered like I did. They can support their kid with other ways to fall in love with reading. So I think it's really important. I enjoy reading. I'm someone who devours books now as an adult, overcoming my personal challenges with dyslexia. But I think it's super important, and I read as much as possible to my kids when I can. And it's a pretty joyous to be able to do that. And unfortunately, I have to say thank you so much. I have to go. But Maddie, thank you for having me on your show, bud. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm Ed Zappa. Thank you so much for being on. And Rock My Collection is premiering Sunday, August 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And check your local listings. So thank you so much, I'm Ed Zappa.
Thanks, bud. Bye.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.